One day last year, I was out with a friend shopping at garage sales, trying to find furniture for his new apartment. The day was bright and sunny, which was rather ordinary for Florida. When we had found all the furniture he needed, the people started to end their sales, and we started driving home. When he pulled over to the yard of an elderly couple who were sitting by their table of things to be sold. They were mostly ceramic statues and old books, things you would expect that from people of that age. But one thing really caught my eye. On the table was a box of maybe 12 movies. I started digging through them, seeing mostly uninteresting titles starring Tom Hanks, my least favorite actor. I was about to walk back to the truck when I noticed that one of the tapes said, "Ah, Real Monsters, the Final Scare." My heart started racing with excitement, seeing as how I had never seen this episode before, and the fact that I assumed that the show had been completely disappeared. I asked for the price of the tape, and the old man said he'd take about 10 cents for it. He had no use for it, since his grandkids were all grown up and never watched the tape. At the time, I didn't notice his odd tone of voice. When my friend and I had returned to his new apartment, I insisted that we procrastinate on uploading the new furniture so that we could watch the tape. He agreed, and we put the tape into the built-in VCR and a small television. The episode started with 10 seconds of static, and then cut to the dump. In place of the normal dark colors of the beloved cartoon were almost painfully vivid hues, with the most prominent of which being the disturbingly realistic blood red splattered over the trash and soaking into the dirt, the texture of which was carefully drawn than normal. The soft static continued in the background, with the camera slowly zoomed in towards the washing machine, which was now dented, scratched, and splattered with small bits of brain matter. I cringed at the appearance of the familiar dump that was so warped to look at. When inside the Monster Academy, most seats were empty, except the spots where Crom, Ickis, and Oblina were sitting. Zimbo, the obnoxious monster from the episode Ickis and the Red Zimbo, was flying around in a clumsy circle around a malicious-looking angry Grumble, looking as though somebody had stabbed him in his left wing. Then Grumble looked up at the trio with realistic eyes, his red lips twisting in a horrid grin. He held up a single finger as if to indicate that he wanted the monsters around him to stop talking, which was rather unnecessary given the fact that nobody was making a sound.
"Tonight,"
he hissed,
"the four of you will team up and perform one final scare. A scare so horrifying that it'll be your last. You must complete it soon, like our fallen brethren have done before."
He looked at the ceiling, and then paused for maybe 30 seconds.
"Go now! Now! Now!"
he screamed, causing Ickis to cringe, the first sign of movement from the trio of monsters. Oblina uttered something under her breath, sounding like, "Iam est vicus ut ad advinio." Crom nodded and added, "Iam est vicus ut quod pero in abyssus." Ickis then shakily whispered, "Iam est vicus nos most interio." Zimbo laughed sadistically, "Iam nos erot hermanus embleris argo." My friend, who had taken a Latin course in high school, whispered the phrases to me in English, making the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. The scene then cut to black for about a minute, and slowly brightened to reveal the four monsters hiding in the alley with malice in their eyes. Oblina picked up Crom, throwing him out in the alley under a bus, a look of genuine shock on his face. Photorealistic blood splattered all over the bus and streets as I watched my favorite character die. His eyes rolled in the feet of a small child who began to sob. The blood on the windshield caused the bus to swerve, hitting a young family and smashing them against the side of a large building as their remaining three monsters remained hidden in the alley, chuckling in an unnerving, demonic manner. "Ickis, you're next," Oblina screeched enthusiastically. The camera zoomed in onto the face of the small red monster, who was shaking and stuttering helplessly in fear. A single tear drooped from his eye as he hesitantly nodded. Ickis put on his normal scary face, but the context was all wrong, making the lovable monster more an unnerving beast too aware of his own fate. Ickis then walked slowly to the center of the group of people watching an obese street mime intently. He creeped up behind the man in black and white stripes and climbed up with his clothes in a flash, digging his small claws through the back of the man's skull, tearing audibly through bone and brain tissue until it was even redder hands emerged from the man's eyes. The mime fell backwards onto Ickis, and the monster's bones could be heard crunching under the weight of the mime as the photorealistic gore splattered the ground. The camera cut back to Oblina and Zimbo, whose laughter echoed throughout the small alley. "Shall we do the final honors together?" Zimbo asked. Oblina nodded. The two walked over to a young boy who was frantically attempting to help an old woman across the street, away from this terrible scene. Oblina grabbed onto Zimbo and the obnoxious monster flew upwards, lifting them quickly across the street in front of the targets. Zimbo swiftly flew down the old woman's throat, leaving a grossly large lump, and the sound of small wings beating against flesh could be heard from inside. That lump that was Zimbo jerked around uncontrollably for a moment, or the sound of Zimbo's wings silenced and the lump in the old woman's throat stopped moving. The woman, now blue in the face, fell to the ground. "Grandma? Grandma, no! No, no, no!" The boy was screaming violently. He began to smash his head into the pavement, the wounds getting worse and worse until the screen faded to black. The camera cut back to Monster Academy, where a blood-splattered Oblina stood in front of Grumble, who had an evil grin on his face.
Oblina, how marvelous,
He said as a scare played on the screen.
You managed to kill all these humans and trick the others into a sure suicide. That's the best thing I've ever seen in decades.
And Grumble stared at Oblina for maybe a minute, his grin only growing wider and more grotesque, before saying the words,
Congratulations, valedictorian.
When the episode ended, my friend and I stared at each other in total shock. He was shaking violently as if he was having a seizure before going still. I took the tape to a Goodwill nearest the house. Thinking back, it was a horrible idea since I'd never wish this episode on anyone. So if you're the unfortunate nostalgic person to find this tape, burn it. I wouldn't want you to suffer from these horrible nightmares I've been having lately. And that, my little shadows, was Ah Real Monsters The Final Scare. A Ah Real Monsters Lost Episode Creepypasta. My final thoughts on the story? Okay. This was nothing more but a cliche piece of crap. Let's be completely frank here, people. It's a cliche piece of garbage. It literally has all the cliches written down on one little slice of internet paper. And when I mean that, I mean a web page. I mean, where do we begin with this? I mean, the garage sale, one of those things. The VHS tape is another. The hyper-realistic blood is another. Hyper-realistic gore is another one too. The unnecessary usage of Latin. Why? Like, really, why? Thankfully, I could read that. Oh, and I'll translate all that crap later. Probably not. I don't know. But then you have the murders, the gore, the all these things that don't play out well in any single Lost episode creepypasta. My God, people. Oh, why? It doesn't work. That was my phone. Sorry about that. But with all due sincerity, that was no. That was no. That was crap. That was a crap concept. I mean, the sentence structuring is good. Same thing with the grammar. Not bad. I'll give it that. I'll give it what credit is due. But even with that being said, no. Just no. This is nothing else more but a gory fan fiction. And that's been being nice with this story. I mean, the rest of the story itself is crap. The concept is crap. Everything about this thing is crap. Let's be honest here, people. It's not anything good. It never has been anything good, and it never will be good. And that sucks, too, because the grammar is pretty good on this one. I mean, I don't have really anything else to say. I mean, if I were to say it, I'd be literally going on like a broken record. We all know why this story is crap. If you don't know why, watch the video again. Watch the narration again. You should know why it's crap. It's relatively easy to figure that out. I mean, especially for a Nicktoon like this. I mean, come on, really? That really doesn't do this Nicktoon any justice. At all. But like I always say, This is simply my own personal opinion and blah 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 yada yada yada. You don't care anymore. Especially not with this story. You all should know the drill at this point. What did you guys think? Oh yeah, my final rating. What do you all expect? 0 out of 10. It's crap. What did you guys think about this story? Did you guys enjoy it? Did you guys not? What would you do to make it taste better? I'm the shadow reader. I have literally nothing else more to say about the story, and I need to go and finish up the whatever other story I need to work on today. And like always, roll the outro because I'm out. I need to go get myself a couple of Subway sandwiches. In fear and surprise as your eyes widen, your mouth goes dry with each battered breath. You try to scream, your mind begs to thee, glued to your computer screen. The killers they slash, the tapes burn and crash. The cartridge you bought will be your final haunt. The rituals of hate will seal your fate. The tears you shed will be from the fear-gripping horror-driven nightmarish gore-filled, terrorizing, hateful, burning, violent, rage-inducing, knife-slashing, blood-splattering, silent screams. Only time will tell if you will escape this online hell. Your horror-filled obsessions will come with its own regressions. Your pathetic screams will not be heeded in any way, because your nightmares will come at any day.